Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. It is Thursday night here for Above the Cushion. Going live a little bit early. I got a lot of information I need to get out as our guest, Delbert Smith, is going to be calling at the 6 o'clock hour. So, got some stuff need to go over as we have a lot of busy weekends headed for us all here for Humboldt Speedway and 88 and 81 Speedway. We need to thank our sponsors here on the show. Of course, Ulick Music for providing some of the equipment here in the studio, and also TM Fencing LLC. If you're needing to get a new fence around your house, your business, maybe your neighbor's fence is looking kind of shabby, and you want to throw them a little line, call 316-218-3450. Tane Murphy and his crew will get out there. They'll get you a free estimate. They can fix you up if you got some special design you want to get done. They can get that for you as well. Just kind of want to go with a standard fence picket, a wooden fence picket. They'll take care of that. Wrought iron. They can do custom stuff, as I mentioned. So get over there to TM Fencing LLC, a proud supporter here at 81 Speedway. We need to thank again Tane Murphy and his whole entire crew for everything they do for us here at 81. Headed towards this weekend, of course, we got a double dose of late models going to invade Humboldt Speedway and 81 Speedway. Looking forward to this weekend. As everyone knows, I'm a big late model. That's my class. The late models are going to be with us, and I'm really looking forward to Friday and especially Saturday. But let's go ahead and talk about Friday, as that's coming up here in just a few short hours. So Friday over at Humboldt Speedway, going to be the Sooner Late Model Series along with your weekly championship points. So Ray's Metal Depot, USRA B mods, your Extrusions Inc. Midwest mod, your Home Savings Bank factory stocks, and of course your Wilson Automotive mini stock and tuner in competition along with the Sooner Late Model Series, as we kind of get headed towards Saturday for Lonnie Smith Memorial here at 81 Speedway. So kind of this little piece of information is going to just tack right over into Saturday. So for Saturday here at 81 Speedway for the Lonnie Smith Memorial, if you've been around racing for a little bit, maybe you're new. Lonnie Smith, of course, a great legendary racer in his own right. Founded the Topless Outlaw Racing Association, TORA as it's called. And my uncle and I kind of chased that around in the early 2000s. So Saturday night here at 81 Speedway, the late models will be topless. It is mandatory that the roofs are going to come off of the late models. And so for Friday, it's an option. They can run without the roof, or they can leave it on. I'm hoping everyone goes topless for the weekend for the late models, because it's an absolutely awesome show. So Sooner Late Models Friday tomorrow night at Humboldt. That is going to be optional for the roof. You can either run the roof or you can take it off. Saturday for the Lonnie Smith Memorial, it is going to be 100% mandatory that the roof does come off of the late model. So that's going to be an absolutely fantastic show. Another thing going to happen over at Humboldt on Saturday is going to be the 2X Monster Trucks live show. I talked about it last week, and of course we had Dan and Cameron on the show as well. My son and I went. My brother-in-law was here. My nephew. It was awesome. It was a really good time. If you're kind of wavering on going over there, to Humboldt on Saturday, or if you're in the Humboldt area, we are live on the 81 Speedway page. I forgot to mention that. Very sorry. We are live on the 81 Speedway page. But if you're over there in Humboldt or surrounding areas, you're not sure if the monster trucks are going to be your thing, go to the show. It is absolutely awesome. It was fun. It was action from start to finish. It was awesome. If you already have your tickets, if you already have your tickets, you are not going to be disappointed. It was a absolutely fantastic show here at the Speedway. Everyone was ready to go. It was like I said, it from start to finish. There's something going on. There's excitement. They're playing the music. The monster trucks are ripping around. I mean, it's an absolutely great time. So I highly recommend, if you're not going to be at 81 Speedway on Saturday, and you're looking for some monster truck action, get over to Humboldt for the 2X Monster Truck Live event. Still tickets for sale. Of course, we posted the link on the Facebook page, so click that link and you can buy tickets for the 2X Monster Truck show at Humboldt on Saturday. So A little rare thing over there. Gonna have the monster trucks on Saturday at Humboldt Speedway. We're gonna race Friday night, of course. So, like I said, if you're looking for something to do in the Humboldt area over there, you're not going to come here to 81 Speedway and either race or watch the late models for the topless Lonnie Smith Memorial. I highly encourage you to go to the 2X Monster Truck Live event. That's going to be at Humboldt Saturday afternoon. Gates are going to open at 11. Pit party from 11 to 12:30. Show will start at 1. It's about a 2-hour show, a 2.5-hour show. And like I said, it's a great time. You're not going to be disappointed, and you're going to have a hard time beating that ticket over there Saturday for the monster trucks. Moving on to Saturday here at 81 Speedway, the United Rebel Late Model Series and the Sooner Late Model Series are going to go topless for the inaugural Lonnie Smith Memorial right here at the Speedway. I'm very much looking forward to this, as like I said before, I spent a lot of my late teens traveling around with the Toro Series and doing the late model thing. So I'm really excited to be here, have it here at the Speedway, and be hopefully a little part of it, as we're gonna have some fun. And as you can see behind me, I have the prize. So that is awesome custom made trophy for the Lonnie Smith Memorial going to be here. And like I said, this is the prize right here. It's heavy. It's custom made. It's a wood piece, custom made. It's been engraved. It is absolutely awesome. Of course, United Rebel Late Model Series and the Sooner Late Model Series. Of course, we've seen the Sooner cars here before. United Rebel, new series kind of traveling around. So going to be some mix and match of some cars maybe you've seen before, traveling around with the different series. Could be some new cars. I know some of the old Toro competitors are going to be out. I saw Kyle Breck is headed to Humboldt for tomorrow night. Of course, he was a terror with the Toro series back in the early 2000s. So, going to be some new racers for the late model stuff. Some old Toro, some old past winners at 81 Speedway for the late model stuff. It's going to be a mix of all of them. You're not going to want to miss it as we honor a great man, Lonnie Smith, right here Saturday at the Speedway. Again, 6 o'clock hour, Delbert Smith going to call in with us and talk a little bit more about the Toro series and about late model racing and kind of talk a little bit more about Lonnie as well. And passed away a few years ago. So I've always kind of wondered if they were going to do a memorial. And when I saw it pop up on the schedule, I was pumped. I was ready to go. So looking forward to Saturday again with us for the United Rebel Late Model Series and the Sooner Late Model Series for the Lonnie Smith Memorial. Of course, you were going to have JLR Property Management 316A Modified, your Wickham Heating and Air Conditioning Mini Stock and Tuners, and your Allied Battery Stock Car. So 4 classes with us Saturday here at the Speedway. Kind of looking more at the schedule. Got quite a bit of stuff happening. Humboldt Speedway, for you Midwest mod racers, going to have $1,000 to win Midwest Mod, Extrusions Inc. Midwest Mod Series over there, and that is presented by On The Go Tire and Auto right there in Chanute. Also going to be Kids Night at the Speedway. That is June 6th at Humboldt Speedway. So Kids Night going to happen. We got a Midwest Mod special, $1,000 to win. All thanks to our friends at On The Go Tire and Auto in Chanute. June 13th over at Humboldt Speedway, got a Outlaw Power Wheels race happening, and that is presented by the Revolution Youth Racers of America. Is also Fort Scott night over there, so we got some prize money up for the Power Wheels race, and again, that is presented by Revolution Youth Racers of America. Going to be a great night. We're going to get all that information posted as we kind of go through June here. We got the Midwest Mod Special. We got the Outlaw Power Wheels. OCRS Sprint Cars are going to visit us on June 20th at Humboldt. I got American Legion Night going to happen as well over at Humboldt. That's kind of the month of June here with us over there. Of course, here at 81, we're going to kick off the very 1st of June. On June 7th, it is going to be the 2025 Hall of Fame induction. Of course, another great night as we honor some past past champions, past owners, past anyone influential at 81 Speedway gets on the ballot. It gets voted on, and then of course we induct them, and that's going to happen June 7th. June 14th, going to be weekly points here at the Speedway. Then we're going to have the OCRS sprint cars for the 8th annual Mike Peters Classic right here at 81 Speedway on June 21st, and then June 28th. It's going to be Revival Late Model Night. So got a couple late model shows happening in the next month or so. Of course, we're going to have one Saturday night. Going to have one at the end of June, and then of course 1st of July, July 5th, we are going to take that time off. So big races happening, big things going on at both speedways for the next month of June. Just be paying attention to the Facebook page. Be paying attention to both Facebook pages, as we're going to be posting all the stuff for the city nights over at Humboldt, all the kids stuff happening here at 81 Speedway in Humboldt. We got Hall of Fame induction going to happen, but most importantly, Delbert Smith with us on the line here as we get headed towards a couple of days of late model racing over at Humboldt and 81 Speedway. Sir, how are you doing tonight?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. I know you're double booked tonight, as you were on with C. Ray and Warren just a little bit ago. But I appreciate you taking some time out and joining us here.
Well, always happy to do it.
I'm personally very excited about Saturday night, as I spent most of my into my teen years traveling around with Tora and of course with my uncle Doug and going around to the couple states and all the sort of tracks and running topless with the late models Saturday night. That's going to be that's high on my list of stuff I needed to get done in life.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a cool event, and guys like Kyle Burke, he's coming to support it because he really enjoyed running for Lonnie. So it's going to be exciting to get them guys down in this area again.
Yeah, we saw that. He posted it, and of course, we got that shared over on the Humboldt Speedway Facebook page. But yeah, I hadn't. The internet wasn't real prevalent back when Tora was running. Their Facebook wasn't around. I was talking to Larry McDaniels today, and of course, he's getting a little bit older. He can't remember as good, but we were trying to figure out when the very first Tora race was and who was the winner.
I couldn't even tell you. I'll have to do a little research on that. I'll have to see if I can't find that out.
Kind of going back to the very beginning. How'd you guys come up with this? What was going on back then that guys kind of wanted to break away and start something a little bit different?
Well, I think to be honest, I think there were some tire rule issues and stuff like that, and it was limited to where we were going to have one tire, and they wanted to be able to have a choice for tires. So I think that's basically how it got started, and then they decided they wanted to leave the roofs off so they could just be different.
It was definitely a show. You get up in the stands when we'd either go to the old fairgrounds in Muskogee or out to Jetmore, and people were excited to see the late models with no roof because some of the containment seat stuff wasn't quite around then, so you could really see you guys working inside the cockpit, moving your hands around and your heads bobbing around. It was just a different type of show.
Yeah, it's going to be different for me. Like I said earlier, I haven't run without the roof since one of his last races, so it's been a while. It's been over 10 years.
I know that some of the racers that are going to be with us, they'd never experienced that, and it's a different. It does something very different to the car. It looks like a small piece of sheet metal. Like on a normal, you're like, oh, that can't make that big of a difference, but it really does something to the handling of the car, and especially now that the late models have got way more aero dependent. Kind of what's your thought on Saturday night and how that's going to
Yeah,
affect
I
some
agree.
people?
I agree. I think there's going to be guys that their cars are going to be tighter than normal because I think without that roof, that air it's easier for that air to get right to the spoiler. So I think they'll have a lot more traction than they normally have. So it'll be different for everyone, I'm sure.
You've kind of seen the evolution of late model racing in your time. You've been doing this a long time, and of course you're in the Kansas Racing Hall of Fame. Uh, you know, just looking at the bodies on these cars from over time, where it was kind of just some, maybe some bends here, some stuff going on with, with putting a body on a car, but now your guys' interiors really, down, and everything is kind of complex angles to get all that stuff to fit in there.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the NASCAR technology moved down to the dirt late models with the bodies all skewed, and it's, I mean, I to be honest, I don't like it. I wish we were back with the old stock Camaro noses and the straight sides, and it put the driver in it more right now. If the guy's got a good aero package, he might not have the best car, but he's gonna be tough to get around.
The other thing that's kind of come, and it always does with racing, we is the motor package. Of course, back in the Toro days, it was how many cubic inches, how many horsepower. There was no limit, and then a little bit after Toro went away, then that's kind of when the crate stuff started coming out. You've seen that come full circle.
Sure, I've still got a crate in mine. Actually, I've got the 525 crate in, but it's still down on power compared to the open stuff. But it just for my budget, and I think for the majority of the tracks we go to, it's fine. It's just this rain is hurting me a little bit. I need it to get drier so we can uh, make the tracks a little more finesse than just hammer down.
With the Rebel late model series, are you Sooner late model series and the United Rebel, the rules are really based around your horsepower thing. So you can have a little bit different spoiler, a little bit different tire, based on the motor that you have in the car. Kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, they've got a package for like an all iron block iron head package, an iron block aluminum head package, all aluminum package, and then a crate package. So, and it's worked out pretty good. Last couple of years, it's sort of turned more to the open stuff, mainly because they stopped building some of the harder compound tires for the fronts.
Mm.
I think if we could get them back to where the open stuff had a little harder right front and left rear, you'd see it equalize a little bit. Right now, I think the other packages are at a disadvantage, but I think there's still some that can run up front with the other packages, but it's just getting tougher.
Kind of wanted to talk a little bit, of course, about Lonnie as we're going to honor him Saturday night here at the Speedway. We lost Lonnie. It's been some time now, and I kind of always wondered if there was ever going to be a memorial, in his honor. And it took a little bit to get there, but we're here now, and I can't wait.
Well, I think we did have a race at Mayetta a while back, but then that track closed, so it sort of went by the wayside. And then the Sooner guys called wanting to do it here at 81, and we felt like that was a special place to him, and I couldn't think of any place better to have it than there at 81.
Yeah. 25 laps, I believe, is going to be the distance for Saturday night. I was a little sad we weren't going to go 47 laps, but I don't know if some of the guys would be up for going that many times around the speedway. But just kind of just looking back at Lonnie, of course, retired from the sheriff's department. Do you know how he even got involved with the sheriffs?
Oh, he right out of high school. I think he was 18 when he went to work there as a dispatcher, and then he just moved into different departments from there. But I think it was just, I mean, it paid good and had good benefits, and that was what he was after. And it, the way the schedule was, it fit nice where he could still race and go to the lake and do the other things he wanted to do. So uh, it just fit him well.
You know, how did you guys get involved in racing altogether? I believe he was the first one to get involved.
My uncle actually raced Archie Finley. He run a semi late there at 81, and he was the one that we actually went out and watched a lot and got started. And as we were growing up, we bought a lot of parts. Back in those days, I feel like they had a lot of car clubs. Pinky had a group of cars, and then there was like a salvage on West Street, Marshall Salvage. They had some cars, and then West Street Salvage was next door to it, and their cars were blue, and everybody's numbers run close to the same. And that was where our uncle was in that West Street Salvage group, and we'd go watch them, and that's how we got started.
So what kind of car did you guys get started with?
It was a '55 Chevy. They were called semi-lates. He'd bought it from Warren Haas.
Okay, let's see. Because Orrin was running around with my grandpa. That would have been like a
Yeah, it
93,
was an old.
94.
Yeah,
What was the
it was
number
before
on it?
then. Yeah, it was 93.
93. Okay.
93. Yeah,
Because
93.
we've lost my grandpa a few years back, and that's
Sure.
actually on his headstone is that old 93 car. I
Yeah,
couldn't remember
93. Yeah,
exactly
it was
93, 94.
blue with the gold. The front fenders were gold and went back. Orrin used to run a lot of that stuff back then, and I mean he lived there across the street from the racetrack, so we went on vacation and come back, and Lonnie had the car sitting there, and then it just went from there.
Everyone was hooked, and of course, everyone's involved. Lonnie drove and then promoted. You've continued to drive, and then Sam, of course, is kind of the mechanic of the whole thing.
Yeah,
Did Sam
he's the
ever
crew
drive?
chief. He'd run some a little, but he's got a little bit of a temper, so it was tough to keep him calmed down. He was sort of like Daryl Waltrip used to say. He always thought 8 tires were better than 4, so it didn't bother him to lean on people. And it, I think if he'd have kept racing, we probably wouldn't have lasted as long as we did.
Yeah, I remember a time where Sam's temper got the best of him and running around with Tora, and even though Lonnie is your brother and he's the promoter, it was definitely a split thing, and he gave the boot to Sam for a few races where Sam had to watch from the
Yeah,
parking lot.
yeah, he did. He sat in the stands, but it sort of worked out all right because I think he won the 50-50 drawing at Salina that night. So we actually made more money than we would have if he'd have been down in the pits. So it seemed like it turned out all right.
Yeah, I every once in a while Timmy Cheveria will show up here at the Speedway, and there was a time with Tora where modifieds were the big thing, but when the Tora got going, it seemed like everyone was getting a late model. I mean, the late model community really grew around with the Tora.
Yeah, it did. It did. Terry or Jerry Phillips drove Lonnie some. So, I mean, it was, and I think we're seeing a little bit of that now. Some of the modified guys are going ahead and getting late models. Like Jake and them guys from Mel Hamilton, they've got a late model
Mm-hmm.
this year. They'll be there
Mm-hmm.
Saturday night. So it'll be good. I'm hoping that we get a good car count. I just hope the weather holds out for us where we can get them both in, because I know Sam and my son Dan worked a little bit to get some lap money. They've got about the right now it's 2,700 in lap money added to the
Wow.
purse. So, and then I had some trophies built for all the classes, and they've got a fuel jug to give away, and a tire, and then a pit mat that they had Lonnie's logo lasered into. They're going to give away. So it's going to be a cool night, I think.
Yeah, I have with JR's permission. I got one of the here on the live on the Facebook. I have the winners trophy hanging up on the wall for everyone to
Yeah,
see it, and
that's cool.
it is absolutely a beautiful trophy.
Yeah, I had those built. The company makes that stuff out of wood, and I had one. I had the bigger one done for the late models, and then smaller ones done for all the support classes. So everybody that's racing the winners will all get a trophy similar to that one. Just it may be smaller.
Um, do you have a list of sponsors and things that you kind of want to shout out
They've
here?
well, they've got a list of all the lap money people. It was just so crazy. I mean, the with just being 25 laps, they were doing $50 a lap. Well, there's multiple people sponsoring laps, and I think some of the laps pay $300 or $400 if you lead
Oof.
that lap. So it's going to be a cool thing, I think. But I don't have the list of everybody that bought laps, but I'm sure they'll get something and get it posted so everybody can see it.
Yeah, I'll have to get down there and see you guys when you get here and make sure I can get a list of that so we can call it out with the series announcer as well. Just try to help out because yeah, having three or four people a lap or five or six, it's
Yeah,
going to be
it's going to
quite the
be
stuff.
tough.
And we want to give
It'll be
everyone
tough,
recognition.
it'll be tough. And I think everybody just wanted to do it because it was Lonnie's deal, and he sometimes he was hard to get along with, but he had a big heart. He'd give you the shirt off his back when it come to it. He might talk to you like he didn't like you, and when it come down to it, you were really buddies.
Yeah, give us a couple stories about Lonnie.
Well, I mean, there's just I know he runs some asphalt stuff at Lebanon and Bolivar. He took his dirt car there and won an asphalt show at one of the tracks. I think it was Lebanon. Him and Leon DeWitt went there and done some of that. And just, I mean, Lonnie, some of the stuff that they did on their sportsman car was ahead of their time. When they split the springs and stuff up for the rules, he actually had his car basically set up the way the late models are today. And it was sort of strange that it ended up being that way. We weren't smart enough to figure out that that was a good thing, but he was probably one of the first ones in the country to get the spring behind.
I know there was a time where there was a time where the topless cars weren't allowed at 81, and then we had a challenge race one night with NCRA, and he was a little nervous because there was some extra money going to whoever whatever side won.
Yeah,
But at the end of the night, I don't remember exactly who won the race, but I know it was a
I
topless
do.
car, and that
Earl Kinderknecht won.
okay, okay,
Yep.
because I know Mark Rowe was leading for a while, and then he
Yep.
messed up, and someone got by him. But that smile that Lonnie always had, I can picture it right now. It
Oh
was
yeah.
infectious.
And see, that's some of it. I mean, when he was doing the tourist stuff, I stayed with NCRA. So, I mean, I ran a lot of the NCRA stuff. I probably was an NCRA car that night. So that's just the type of relationship we had. But, when it was, like I said, when it was Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas, everything was cool.
Yeah, yeah. That racing sometimes when your brothers, but when it's racing, it's a way different story.
Yeah, that's the way it was with us. I mean, we didn't have a problem with leaning on each other and racing with him and Larry. It seemed like, I don't know. Sometimes I haven't figured it out. It's that way with a lot of them, but you'll catch a car and you're running. It seems like way faster than they are, and then when you get to them, they pick up speed and like, man, if you just would have went that fast before I got here, you'd be leading the race. But it just sometimes them guys I think were just pacing themselves until I got there, and then they'd go ahead and open them up.
Well, between running with your brothers and now racing with your son, you kind of always out there with some sort of family member. You know, what's it like out there on the road with your son?
I really enjoy it. You know, he started out working on my stuff, so I mean, he does a lot of the setup, the shock stuff, spring stuff. I mean, I'm going to be honest, he's a way better driver than I ever thought about being. So if he just puts his mind to it, you know, in the last few years, he started listening more to what I was telling him. And, you know, he's tough to outrun. I mean, you can ask about anybody around. If it gets somewhere where it's slick and a momentum type of deal where our motor package is competitive, he's hard to outrun.
What you know, what kind of chassis are you guys in? You know, now I know you've been through a few over the years as the evolution of stuff goes. Even Larry, you know, a diehard GRT driver, got in a Masters build at some point. So,
Sure.
what are you guys running?
Right now, we're in XR1s. Both of our cars are from Chase. We hooked up with Chase out of Manhattan. He runs a
Okay.
lot of the Outlaw and Lucas stuff, so we bought our cars there. And I mean, the tech support from him is second to none. I don't think. I mean, I know Conkwright's Brandon and Mike. They've got cars, and Pam, their car came from Chase, and I mean they talked to us when they were getting ready to get a late model and said, "What do you think?" And I'm like, I don't think you can go wrong getting a car from Chase. I know that's where one of my sponsors bought one for his son out in Nebraska, and then I know Jake's stuff uh, is from Chase too. So I mean, he just, like I said, his tech support is second to none. I mean, there's times he'll call us when we're at the racetrack somewhere. He'll be watching off of Facebook, and he'll call Dan and say, "Hey, you guys need to put a shim here or put a round here or something like that." And I mean, he's on it. I mean, it's crazy the stuff he knows about these cars.
Yeah, of course. For anyone listening, Chase Younghand is who you're talking about. Is so it is it's a Rocket XR1 by, is it like something like by a
Yeah.
Younghand or something?
Yes.
Okay,
I think his company's CJR is what
okay,
it is. So it's XR1 by CJR,
okay.
which is Chase Younghands Racing. But
Yeah, and of course to have that local, like you said, and if he's you know he's racing and you know spending some time, so if he's watching and telling you just by looking at a car what it can do, that's a special,
yeah,
that's a
it
special
is.
person.
Yes, it is. He's like I said, he's easy to get along with, and he's been around, you know, from with them running. Robe drove for him, John Anderson, so they've raced a lot of the tracks that we raced at when he was running his modified and stuff. So he knows where we're going, and he knows our driving style, and our styles fit in with him. And it was a good match. I mean, I'm really happy.
You've been doing this. You've been doing this a long time, and you're still a young man. But at some point, you kind of look at it like, are we still having fun, or you know, or
Oh yeah,
what's it
yeah.
looking at like for the future?
Well, as long as we're competitive, we'll keep going. You know, that's it. Still healthy, so just gets hard to get in and out. But other than that, we're good.
Last time Jeremy Heim and I had you on the show, you were driving trucks. You
Yep,
kind of got
I
a
still
little
drive a
semi, and
semi.
okay.
Yep, I just got back at 5 o'clock this morning.
What do you are you're driving for yourself or for
Yeah,
somebody?
yeah, yeah. I drive for myself.
What are you hauling?
Ice cream and pizza.
Oh, that's that's not a bad gig there.
No, it's not. It's not too bad a deal.
You know, kind of looking at the for you know tomorrow at Humboldt and 81. How many times have you been at Humboldt in a car?
I've only been there a couple of times. I
Oh, okay.
haven't been there much, so it's not. It's new for me.
Well, that one's going to be an experience, and of course, you've got a ton of laps around 81 Speedway. You know, for Saturday night. So, you know, what's I'm sure more people have talked to you about coming, and what's kind of the car count looking like?
I'm hoping that we could see uh, 30 cars or so, so I'd be happy with that.
I know the Friday, some people getting off of work and going is sometimes a little tough, but Saturday for sure. That would be awesome if we could see the 30 cars for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah, I think we got a good opportunity for that.
Um, Talking about the Iceman, where did you get that nickname?
Oh, well, like my car right now, the colors it was, I drove for a Mike and Clarence Dennett out of Augusta. Their car was white and had silver numbers, and it was sort of everybody considered it plain for the time because they didn't do a lot of background lettering or any of that. So everybody said they used to tease me, Lonnie and them used to tease me and say, "Oh, your car looks like a refrigerator." So that was how it got started. And then I think we won one of the big races at 81, and the newspaper guy put, Delbert Smith ices the field or something. So that's how it got started. And Terry Labonte was one of my favorite NASCAR drivers, and he was the Iceman. So it sort of stuck.
Okay. Um, Over your career, like I said, you've won a ton of races. What's probably the biggest race you picked up?
Oh, winning at Belleville is always special, but we won. It wasn't the biggest paying race, but we won a televised race at 81 that C. Ray and them had that was on TV.
Hmm.
I'd say that was it, because I can still go back and watch it on TV, and uh, I'd say that was probably it. Going and making the show, me and some of those deals were special, but I think probably winning that TV race is right up there.
What was that? What series was that? Was that like a NDRA?
I think it was NCRA. I
Okay.
think it was an NCRA deal that they had, but I think it was televised back, when Charlie Randolph, Charlie Chicken, the nine
Mm-hmm.
car, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of those guys were running it. And we had a good field of cars. But
Hmm. I'll have to go. I'll have to go look for that one. I some of that
yeah,
footage
I'll
every
see
once
if
in a
I can
while I
find it.
run across it on
I'll
YouTube or something. But
yeah, I'll see if I find it because Lonnie used to give me a hard time about that. He tried to get me to go uh, to Texas to run a race with him, and it was like 10,000 to win or something like that. And he went down there and won. He was like, "See, I told you should have went," And so he'd always throw that at me. He's like, "Yeah, you ain't never won a race that pays over $3,000, And I'd told him, I said, "Well, I know, but I said I didn't get lapped on national TV either because I lapped him that night. So that always shut him up."
oh man, I'm looking forward to Saturday night, and like I said, I don't want to keep you. I know you've been on the phone for a little bit here, and I know you still got stuff to do to get ready, so I don't want to keep you all night. But man, I really appreciate you for everything you do for racing and sticking around. Of course, I watched you as a kid, and then here Saturday night I'm going to be able to announce a race with you in it. So I'm really looking forward to that, and of course honoring Lonnie. Like I said, spent a lot of the end of my teen years, early 20s. Chasing the Torah deal and going around the country and spending time with my uncle and looking up to all you guys. Saturday's going to be a bucket list thing for me for sure.
Well, cool. I appreciate it. Come down and visit.
Absolutely will, sir. Thank you very much. We're going to see you Friday at Humboldt and then Saturday right here at 81 Speedway. You have a terrific night and safe travels to the races.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Delbert Smith on the phone as we get headed towards Saturday night. Friday night and Saturday night. Friday night at Humboldt Speedway for the Sooner Late Model Series. Tops optional for the late models at Humboldt, but they are going to be mandatory off Saturday night right here at 81 Speedway for the inaugural Lonnie Smith Memorial at 81 Speedway. Of course, you can find Saturday night's action on Racing Dirt, and then Friday night, unfortunately, not going to be live streamed, but we'll be live a little bit with the Speedway page, and you can kind of pay attention to what's going on in the Humboldt Speedway Facebook page. Again, thank you for spending your Thursday night with us. We had a great conversation with Delbert Smith. We're looking forward to Friday night as the late models make their return over to the Quarter Mile Bull Ring in Humboldt, Kansas. And then Saturday night, as we kind of throw it back to the Torah Racing Series days, and the tops are going to come off of the late models right here at 81 Speedway for the inaugural Lonnie Smith Memorial. As you can see, the trophy behind me, that is going to be the prize for the 25 lap A feature for the United Rebel Late Model Series and Sooner Late Model Series cars here at the Speedway. That is going to do it for me here tonight. Again, all of the information we covered earlier in the show about races happen at Humboldt Speedway, 81 Speedway. Please be paying attention to the Facebook page. And of course, every Thursday right here for Above the Cushion, you're going to get all that information. Got another thing happening for you drivers. I got a little deal to kind of give some shout outs for your motor builders, your chassis builders, your sponsors. Jeremy Himes been helping me work on that, and I really appreciate him for helping me out, getting a little spreadsheet stuff put together so I can call out your hometown, your chassis builder, your engine builder, your sponsors, do all the calls over the PA. So be paying attention to the drivers pages and the 81 Speedway and Humboldt Speedway Facebook pages. I'm going to get that QR code presented out there, and you guys will be able to enter your information, and then I'll be more than happy to call it out over the PA and help your sponsors out as well. So drivers, be paying attention for that information to come out so you can get the form filled out for the Humboldt Speedway and 81 Speedway drivers pages. Races coming up. It's big. It's exciting. There's a lot of stuff happening in June and July at both speedways as we're towards the end of the May for 2025 here. But another thing I got to bring up, 2X monster trucks. If you were here last Saturday with us, keep your ticket. And then, of course, Saturday at Humboldt Speedway, keep your ticket. Keep the email, or if you printed it off, whatever you have, keep that, because that is going to be good for $5 off an adult general admission grandstand ticket at both speedways for an event for the rest of the season here. That is going to exclude any World of Outlaws or ASCS action at either speedway. So your $5 off for your 2X monster truck tickets not going to be good for World of Outlaws or ASCS stuff, but it will be good for any of our local championship nights at the Speedway. So keep your tickets from 2X monster trucks if you were there, whether you have it in your email or you printed it off. Bring it to the ticket booth. Going to be good for $5 off a general admission grandstand ticket at either of the speedways. That is going to do it for me. Thank you very much for tuning in. Delbert Smith was an absolute it was an absolute pleasure to have him on. Looking forward to tomorrow night at Humboldt Speedway, Saturday night at 81 Speedway. We appreciate each and every one of you. Find us right here on Facebook for Humboldt Speedway and 81 Speedway. We're going to be live every Thursday for Above the Cushion. Going to have a guest on or do some updates. And, of course, catch us tomorrow at Humboldt Speedway, Saturday, 81 Speedway for the races. Thank you very much. Take care. Good night. God bless. We'll see you at the races, and then right here every Thursday for Above the Cushion.